The first ever global AP virtual summit is planned for March 9th and 10th. Stick around while I'm joined by my co-host for that session, Jamie Radford from the AP Association, a global organization in the UK, while we share a brief look at the talks that are planned for this unique event. Okay, so Jamie, we just finished recording Claire Brumby, one of our keynote speakers. What impressed you most about her talk?
Do you know what? I think the global audience will love Claire's passion. And though she doesn't come from an accounts payable background, every little part of her talk will actually hit home to our audience. Whether you're female or male, it really will hit home. I was absolutely blown away. The audience will absolutely love Claire's presentation.
And you've heard her more than once, haven't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so she's very different than our other keynote speaker, Vic Hartman, the retired FBI agent. Of course, he's going to talk about fraud. He should hit the audience a little different, but I think they're going to learn a lot from him.
Absolutely. Again, I was mesmerized. I couldn't stop listening to what Vicar had to say. I think, everything he said, you can absolutely utilize in a finance environment. So there were some great topics. It isn't just US focused, it's global. So absolutely great presentation. Really looking forward to our audience listening to Vic's presentation as well.
So you mentioned that it's global, and I think one of the things that you and I have discovered working together over the last few years is just how global accounts payable is. And I think we're going to have a whole panel on that. And I think Neil Robinson's going to join us.
He is indeed, yeah, the chairman of a large organization called Complete. So his background in developing software, but in the world of payables and e-commerce, etc. And he'll be great in terms of, he does stuff over in the US, I know
Yes,
he does an awful lot in the US, but globally, he is one of those people at the forefront of understanding where the issues are, how their solution can assist that. But again, it's a global issue that we talk about. And that's why this new summit is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and we actually have more in common than I would have thought before we started working together. Now, these folks are just the tip of the iceberg. By the way, there's a link for more details and to register the event in the show notes below. It's only $35 a person for the 2 days, and it runs from 11:30 to 3:30 every day. So you can click on that link to register or get more information. Many companies are registering their entire staff. Now, Jamie, I'm not going to ask you how the technology works. All I know is you told me that it's 11:30 no matter where you are.
Yeah, and again, the technology, we've used it several times, Mary. The great thing is it's live on the day. You can interact, you can ask questions, you can watch the speakers as you go out throughout the day. And again, if you've got the 2-day pass, as Mary said, for $35, as soon as the presentations have gone, you'll still have an access to go back into the previous day to rewatch those presentations through. So what, for $35 for 2 days full worth of entertainment, why wouldn't you sign up?
Yeah. Now, we also have 3 accounts payable professionals who are going to talk about invoices. And one of the things that I enjoyed about that panel and putting it together and getting the folks on it is how, regardless of which side of the pond you are on, when it comes to the problems with invoices, they were exactly the same. So I know we have a lot of discussion about implementing a no PO, no pay process. And then Jen's going to talk about avoiding duplicate invoices when you're transitioning to a new automation solution.
Yeah, and you know what, Mary? Take away the language, how we talk and our accents. It is exactly the same. It really is. And, the great thing about the global panels we've been talking through, literally the issues are the same. And actually the ideas are very similar. And it's nice to get the global community to talk about how we can put solutions in place like no PO, no pay. Mm-hmm. What can we do? And actually there's some great expertise that come out of that panel.
So one of the things that I got a kick out of when we were talking, especially about the no PO, no pay, was when I asked about the low dollar invoices and they mentioned P cards. Oh, we just use P cards. And I wasn't astounded because it's the obvious answer, but it's, the same thing we do here. And I know on our payments panel, Lynn Larson is going to give us some insights about P cards on both sides of the pond. But we also have 2 really, I think, interesting talks. Leanne Perkins is going to share her experiences. She started a new job, and when she got to that job after she'd been there not a real long time, they called her in and they said, oh, by the way, we're going to start accepting payments in cryptocurrency and using it, figure out how it works. So I think that's something that a number of people are going to find themselves dealing with, even though they don't expect it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And actually, that's a great panel. By the way, I've been on a panel with Lynn previously when we talked about P cards with yourself, Mary. But again, yeah, this whole thing around cryptocurrencies, blockchain, this is the thing of the future, whether depending on what cryptos people are in. So again, what a great panel. What a great way to delve into that and ask those questions. So again, encourage you, if you're watching this live on the day, ask those questions, get them in
Right.
there, get the
Right.
expert to answer your question for you.
Because here's somebody who walks in your shoes, who's had to do it. And
Yeah.
that panel also is going to be rounded out by Rob Unger from Notcha. They have a great fraud product that he's going to talk about. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward, we have a skill building panel. Patsy Christian and Tom Flynn from over here are going to join us. I've seen Tom's presentation. I haven't seen Patsy's yet, but I know she's always great.
Yes, so look, anybody who's not seen Tom or heard Tom, you've got to come along. He puts me to shame, absolutely, but absolute expert, such a knowledgeable, lovely guy. And then when we talk about Patsy, what doesn't Patsy know about accounts payable? She's been in it a long time, even though she looks like she's still in her teen years. She's absolutely amazing, great presentation skills. You will love those two individuals.
Right. And then we're going to have another fraud panel where you and I are going to be on that, actually, with Lynn. And I believe David Griffiths from Fiscal is going to join us.
Yeah, indeed. And again, so David will give you many, many years of experience. The fiscal technology solution has been around a long time, very large in the US. They're very large in the UK. They've got lots of different solutions and products, but David's got lots of experience, lots of war stories to tell about what goes wrong and what you can do to fix it. It's not all about fiscal, but actually David's experience that we really want to tap into.
Yeah. And you know something, for that whole panel, you know the person that I've known the longest? David.
Ah, there you go. So we want to make sure that it's not just a catch-up session between you and David then, Mary.
Yeah. And then the last session, which I'm really pleased that we have this, we have a technology and data analytics session. Rich Lanzer, who's an old friend of mine, is the managing director on the innovation team at Grant Thornton. He's going to talk about analytics. And I know anytime he talks about analytics, it's always very interesting. And then Dan French. Dan's a wealth of information.
He is, absolutely. And I've known Dan a long time. And what we've got to do, by the way, Mary, when he comes on live, we've got to ask him about the picture he has behind him, which is this, looks like a wine cellar. It looks like he's actually sitting in a wine cellar. But you know what? As an individual, lovely, experienced, presents exceptionally well, talks about a lot of subjects which relate to accounts payable, source to pay, piece to pay. But again, our audience will absolutely love Dan.
Yep. And I hope, in addition to that panel, this afternoon, I'm going to have a talk with somebody on your side of the pond, a practitioner who I'm hoping is going to join that panel. So fingers crossed. Teresa, I hope you say yes. All righty. Jamie, I'm looking forward to that. And everybody, don't forget, there's a link to register for this event in the show notes below. Again, only $35 a person for 2 days, and it'll start at 11:30 a.m. no matter where you are. Thanks, Jamie. Can't wait
Thanks,
to see
Mary.
you there.
See you soon.